G'day everybody and welcome back to a brand new video here on the YouTube channel. Today I'll be predicting this year's prelim finals as well as going through my semi-finals tips and predictions and seeing which ones I got incorrect. Now if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, could you please show me that by liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you're new, and of course hit that notification bell so you can be notified when new videos coming out. Enough wasting your time, let's just get straight into it. During the semi-finals I failed to get a single tip correct as both the games were quite hard to tip. First game was Hawks v Port. The Hawks actually managed to make it quite a close contest, but unfortunately Port got up by 3 points. I think the main reason I chose the Hawks is because all that confidence they had going into that game. I'm sure we've all seen Jack Ginnivan's comment on the Swans post. But although the Hawks made it quite a close contest, realistically no one had them going far in September. Everyone was hoping it, but realistically they weren't. But unfortunately that was the first tip I got incorrect of the week. The next one was Giants v Lions. Obviously I tipped the Giants going into that game, and I think most people would have. They were favourites and it was being played at NG. But with just moments to go in the game, Joe Danaher kicks the winning goal with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go on the clock. And now let's see who I have moving on to this year's AFL Grand Final. On the Friday, we've got Swans v Port at the SCG. The Swans are coming off a win 2 weeks ago against the Giants in the qualifying final where Joel Amati kicked the winning goal with just time to spare. Well, although the Power did get smashed by the Cats 2 weeks ago in the qualifying final, they are coming off a win last week. Errol Goulden for the Swans is averaging 27 disposals a game, and Zach Butters from Port Adelaide is doing the exact same. Although Port Adelaide do have a fair few injuries, there's only really 2 players that could make a massive impact, being Sam Powell-Pepper as well as Dan Houston, who we all knew were going to miss this game anyway. But just recently, Todd Marshall has been announced that he will miss this game due to concussion protocols. Isaac Heaney kicked 3 goals 2 weeks ago, as well as racking up 30 disposals. But surprisingly, that wasn't the most disposals racked up, as Jake Lloyd racked up 32. And last week, the highest disposal count during Port Adelaide's game was 25, being Jace Burgoyne. But Mitch Georgiades had the opportunity to kick 5 goals during that game, but kicked 2 behinds on top of his 3 goals. Obviously, both midfields will be pretty even, as Port Adelaide have Connor Rozee, Zach Butters and Ollie Wines, who has had an outstanding performance during this year's finals so far. And the Swans will have Errol Goulden, Chad Warner and Isaac Heaney, who all made this year's All-Australian side. These 2 teams have been pretty even all season, as Port Adelaide finished the season in 2nd while the Swans finished the season in 1st. These 2 teams faced off against each other at the Adelaide Oval in round 21, where Port Adelaide won the game by 112 points. So although they did have the home ground advantage, Port Adelaide know just how to beat the Swans. So unless they have a new game plan, the Port Adelaide Power will go into this game with a lot of confidence. The Swans will obviously go into this game as favourites, as it is being played at the SCG. And no one can really trust the Power after that game 2 weeks ago against the Cats. I don't have a whole lot more to say about this game besides the fact I think it's going to be an absolute thriller. But simply just because of the home ground advantage, I'm going to tip the Swans to move on to the grand final after winning the game by 4 points. And the second game on the Saturday, we've got Geelong vs Brisbane at the MCG. 2 weeks ago, the Cats won the game by a margin of 84 points in the qualifying final against Port Adelaide. And the Lions have won both of their games, last week against the Giants and the week before against the Blues. With just minutes to go in last week's game against the Giants, Joe Danaher kicks the winning goal with 2 minutes 30 to go on the clock. In fact, he kicked the final 2 goals of the game. And the week before, they won the game against Carlton by 28 points, nearly leaving them scoreless in that first half. Jeremy Cameron from the Cats is averaging 2 goals a game, and Joe Danaher from the Lions is doing the exact same. Lachie Neale, a favourite for this year's Brownlow medal, is averaging 29 disposals a game, but last week only racked up 19, although the week before he racked up 27. In the Cats v Port clash, both Jeremy Cameron and Tyson Stangl racked up 4 goals, and Sean Manor and Brian Myers kicked 3 goals each. At the end of the season, the Cats finished in 3rd and the Lions finished in 5th, but arguably deserved to finish in the top 4 and would have if it wasn't for that draw earlier in the season. When these 2 teams faced off against each other earlier in the season at the Gabba, the Cats won the game by 26 points. Mullen was subbed off early 2 weeks ago in the game against Port Adelaide, and it's still yet to be confirmed whether or not he's playing, but the fact that we haven't heard anything just yet I think is a good sign, and I think he's likely to play. These 2 teams last faced off in a prelim 2 years ago in the 2022 AFL season, where the Cats won the game by 71 points and went on to win the flag the very next week. In fact, best on ground for that game was the 2 veterans being Patrick Dangerfield and Tom Hawkins. The Lions will have 2 2024 All-Australian players playing for them, being both Dane Zorko and Lachie Neale, while the Cats will only have one, being Jeremy Cameron. Surprisingly, this game has closer odds than Port v Swans, even though I think this game will be a smashing and the other one will be close. Well, maybe not a smashing, but I don't think it'll be very close this game. So I'll tip the Cats to win this game by 31 points and move on to the AFL Grand Final. That's right, the 2022 AFL Grand Final rematch. And to find out who I have winning this year's AFL Premiership, you're going to have to subscribe to the channel as well as hitting that notification bell so you can be notified next week when I release my Grand Final tips and predictions, and I'll see you all there. Peace.